Welcome to the Impactful Entrepreneur Show with Adrienne Hill, a place for online business industry expertise and thought leadership, where you can build the skills, structure, and systems you need to thrive in business and have a lasting impact in your industry. Let's do this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am super excited. I am here today with Lynn Neville, and she is a business strategist who specializes in lead generation, networking, and online events. She's the founder of Biz Bestie HQ and the Six Figure Biz Content Club. Lynn helps businesses grow their audience and get more leads with simple tools and strategies that get results without the overwhelm. Say goodbye to the struggle bus and say hello to a list full of loyal followers who want to buy your products and work with you. And I'm so excited because today we're talking all about the power of collaborations and basically forming friendships and partnerships with other people to help further both of your businesses, which is also a passion area of mine. And we speak the same language. And honestly, I love your intro because prior to learning about collaborations, I was also riding the struggle bus and it completely changed my business. So I can't wait to dig into this topic with you. So welcome, Lynn.
So pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know, before we dive into the good stuff, for those who are in the audience who maybe haven't met you yet, do you want to tell us just a little bit about your story as an entrepreneur and kind of what brought you to where we are today, being an expert in this area of collaborations?
Yeah, so I as a middle child, I always want to get people together and live harmoniously together. But just going back a little bit, during COVID, it was a really lonely period for a lot of us. Like online entrepreneurs, we're used to being working alone, but during COVID, it just kind of like escalated things. And so I discovered Clubhouse at that point, and I was addicted because I was getting together and hearing real people in real time. And so when I was on there, I started running these networking rooms where we would get these women together, women entrepreneurs, and we would talk about ourselves and make connections. It wasn't just, okay, I'm going to talk, come over and pitch my business. It was actually, you know what? I know someone who would be really good referral for you, and connecting people. And I loved it so much. We ran those rooms for an entire year, and I host events, online events like giveaways and bundles. And so I thought, why don't I incorporate this into my events and get those contributors and those participants to be able to connect with each other beyond those events and go and do their own summits together, go and do their own collaborations together. And it worked out so well that that's all I do now. That's like my biggest focus is finding ways for other people to collaborate, showing them how collaboration can really change your business and connecting them with the right people.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, COVID was rough on all of us.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, and I think we're all still recovering, but I mean, there's always a silver lining. There's some hidden gems that came out of it for all of us too.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, like, you took what seemingly was a terrible situation and you found that silver lining. And now it's like at the heart of everything that you do. And it's become an entire thing for you, which I love. So for people who are maybe new to this idea at all, like there's tons of business builders out there who they're trying to do it all alone. They're trying to do it all themselves. Growing their email list feels impossible. Growing their Facebook group feels impossible. Getting buyers and clients feels impossible. So tell us a little bit about, like, why are you so passionate about networking, connecting, collaborating, and how is it rewarding to business in general? Like, what are the benefits of incorporating this kind of strategy into your business?
Yeah, so I think, one of the things that new and emerging entrepreneurs aren't aware of is how having business connections can really make your business journey so much more enriching and rewarding, and it can propel your business forward. So it doesn't matter if you're just new and emerging, if you're just starting out, actually helps you out no matter what stage in business you are in, because as human beings, we weren't meant to live alone and we thrive when we connect with others. So likewise, in businesses, we need other businesses and we need collaboration to help move ourselves forward, to grow and to grow our businesses. And having long-lasting relationships really makes that difference, because when you collaborate with other businesses and you leverage each other's audiences, you can increase your visibility, you can establish your authority, you can grow your audience, you can get referrals, you can save time and money, And I've seen it work for so many people. I've experienced it myself, where connecting and collaborating can really open up a whole world for you. You know, when you're a solopreneur, especially, you're doing all the things yourself. Who do you turn to ask questions? Am I doing this right? Is this the right way to do this? Am I even is this what people want? So having these business relationships with biz besties is what I call them, and collaborating with people, then you get a better idea of what you should be doing. Your business can grow. You're going down the right path. You'll get access to ideas that you wouldn't have been able to come up with yourselves. You know, when you're first starting out, you don't know what you don't know, but maybe your biz bestie can help you. Maybe they know, and maybe they can help support you in growing your business in ways that you never thought of before.
Yeah. So, and I completely agree. Love that, because, you know, your net worth is your network. But I know there's tons of people out there who are like they get the seed of the idea, but it's falling apart in translation. So, for example, I know there's tons of people out there, they're trying to network and connect in Facebook groups, but they're just not getting, like, when they're reaching out to people, they're not getting engagement. They're trying to engage and network on LinkedIn and they're not getting a lot of response. They're trying to engage and collaborate, but it's just not turning into something. Like, the mechanism itself, they're not activating the right mechanism. And so there's tons of people out there who recognize, like, well, yeah, I want to network and collaborate, but how? How, you know, like, so can you give a couple examples of like what that mechanism might look like beyond just like trying to reach out to people on social media and getting ignored?
Yeah. Well, so there's a couple of things that you really need to know before you actually start connecting with people. So the first thing being, what's your goal? So if your goal right now is to launch a program, then you have to think about, okay, who are the people that I can connect with that can help me launch that program, that can support this program? Second thing you want to know is who your target audience is, and who are the people that have that same or similar target audience. So you're not going to approach people who, I talk about this all the time. So if you're launching a program that teaches people how to get speaking engagements, you're not going to try to connect with an accountant because they don't like to speak. But kidding, but They are not your target audience. So you want to collaborate with people who have that target audience that is going to be open and wants to learn about the program that you're launching. So understanding those things, then you can start thinking about, who are those people? How do I connect with them? Who do I know that can connect me with that person? So that's one other thing, like having a network of biz besties helps you with. Like, I remember I learned about you through through someone else who was my bestie at the time. And she, she helps me grow my network also. So it's, who do you know that has the same or similar target audience as you and can support you with the goal, that specific goal that you're working on. So if you go in a coffee chat or a networking room and everyone's talking about what their business is, but they're not in the same niche as you, they don't serve your target audience, don't even bother wasting your time. It is not worth your time. You really need to find the right people that can support your goal and your audience.
Yeah. Super smart. I love that. And so talk to us a little bit, like, I know you have a really good Elton John, Taylor Swift story that kind of gets into like how you can actually grow your visibility and authority. I would love to hear that story. I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah, so just thinking about collaboration simply in terms of Elton John and Dua Lipa, they did that song together, Cold Heart, which I love. But Elton John and their fan bases are different. But what happened there is Elton John got more, grew his audience with Dua Lipa, the younger audience that Dua Lipa has. And Dua Lipa was able to add more people to her audience from all the millions of fans that Elton John has. And so if you think about, he did the same thing. He did a collaboration with Britney Spears. Again, they both grew their audiences because they did a song together, and Britney Spears fans, younger base, they probably didn't know about Elton John, vice versa. But because they did that collaboration, their audiences both got to get exposed to them. And so they grew their audiences. And the queen of collaboration when it comes to music is Taylor Swift. Look at all the people that she's done songs with, she's collaborated on songs with, who they just started climbing the charts. Nobody heard about them, or, they like, the authority that she has kind of rubs off on them. Oh, they did a song with Taylor Swift, they must be good. I'm going to start listening to their other music. And that's what we want for our businesses as well. Justin Bieber, same kind of thing. He collaborates all the time on all sorts of songs. But if you're thinking of it in terms of business, look at Amy Porterfield. when she launches a program, she doesn't just launch it on her own. She has a slew of cheerleaders who are there to support her, biz besties, her colleagues, her affiliate program. And so when she launches, it's this massive thing, massive income, because she wasn't doing it just on her own. And you think about, like if you have a program and you have 1,000 people on your list, right? And your conversion rate is 3%. So you get 30 signups. If you have 9 friends or 10 friends that have 1,000 people on their list, that's 10,000 people. Conversion rate is 300 people, right? Signing up for your program. Now, if you add in the dollar figures, say your program is $1,000, if you were to launch it on your own, you would make $30,000, right? But if you launched it with all those people, with that 30,300 people combined, times $1,000 for every sale, that's $33,000 that you could which or 330,000, which would you rather have, the 30,000 or the 330,000? Exactly. And that's what Amy Porterfield does. Yeah.
Yes. So. Yes. And so I know there's tons of people, like the light bulb is going off now of like, well, yeah, that would be amazing to tap other people's audiences and have them tap yours. And I know from experience, it's not like I'm stealing your people or you're stealing mine. It's like, hey, meet my people, I'll meet your people, we'll all hang out together. It's like a win-win kind of a situation, right? Like I know simply from you and I collaborating on this event, a lot of your audience is going to meet me and a lot of my audience is going to meet you, and we're both going to benefit because of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love events like this because it's scaled. It's not just our audiences, it's everybody that's inside of this event that is benefiting. So I'm benefiting by getting exposure to my business. You're benefiting by getting exposure to your business. And for all the other experts and speakers, they're benefiting. And then our audiences are benefiting because we have our areas of expertise and our programs, our services, but we can't teach everything that everyone else, all the other speakers, are teaching. So giving our audience access to other people's expertise is a win-win for them too. So that's why I always think of it as a win-win-win for everyone that's involved, our audience, ourselves, and our collaboration partners too.
Yes, absolutely. All the way around. So give us a few examples of different types of collaborations that either you've participated in or some of your biz besties have, or that maybe you haven't yet, but it's on your list of stuff you want to do. Like what are some of the ways you've implemented this strategy into your own business?
Yeah. So you can do anything as small to big. There's so many different kinds of ways to do it. One really simple, common one is an email exchange. So you have a lead magnet, I have a lead magnet, and we agree to share our lead magnets with each other's audiences. Really simple. In terms of passive income, this can be an evergreen strategy. You set up these kinds of lead magnet exchanges or email exchanges with multiple people, set it up as an evergreen system. And it's just something that we, every time someone new comes onto our list, they get that email, that evergreen email. You don't even have to think about it anymore. It's passive income. Another thing is getting guest spots on podcasts or on people's YouTube channels, or doing a guest blog post on someone's blog. It's again, you're leveraging someone else's audience and you're growing your authority as well. So say, for example, with a podcast, you're getting exposure to their audience and you're getting authority because this person's featuring you as this expert. So it's built-in authority there. And then if you offer up a lead magnet, that podcast episode lives on forever until the life of the podcast. And so anybody maybe 6 months down the road, they go and listen to it and they see your lead magnet and they get on your list and they get, you start nurturing them and they buy something from you. And you did that episode 6 months ago. So that's like an excellent, passive income strategy.
Yeah, I love that. And well, it's creating evergreen content that can live in so many different ways. And I know like I take a lot of these interviews and I repurpose them on the Impactful Entrepreneur Show. I also slice them and dice them and turn them into reels and TikToks. And like, there's so much you can do. You can take all those different interviews that you've been in or that you've hosted. You can add them as a bonus in one of your courses or programs. Like there's so much you can do. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was actually chatting with a friend today. I was because I have this one program, and in it I make these tech recommendations, and she is the tech guru, my go-to person for all tech. And so I said to her, you know what? Here's a collaboration idea. I can't provide this tech expertise to my audience. Maybe you can be the person that I put inside of this program as the person that they can contact. That's a collaboration effort. That's an evergreen collaboration effort for her because she doesn't have to do anything. People will just come to my course, click on it, and then they can contact her if they need to. So just different things that you can think about.
Yeah, it's amazing the opportunities that open up. I mean, even in one of my programs, one of the very first collaboration events I had, I interviewed this girl, Elia Finkelstein, and I was so impressed with her. And I was like, wow, you are blowing my mind. You're like a diamond in the rough. You're a hidden gem. Like no one knows about you yet, but you're going to be a big deal. And I invited her to be a copywriting coach inside of one of my programs. And now, years later, like she has just taken off and like being a part, a guest coach in one of my programs was a part of that. But now she's like, oh my gosh, she's growing leaps and bounds. And it's so cool to see, like you can get guest coaching spots in other people's programs or like built-in referrals into courses. It's really cool, the stuff you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. Very, very cool. So I think people are starting to get it now. But they're probably wondering like, this sounds great, but where do you find these people that you partner with? Like, I think that's probably the most common question that comes up with this topic.
Yeah. So the people that are more established, they're already in the business. They have some, small, big, whatever. They have some businesses they can turn to. It's going to them first. That's my favorite thing to do. Go to them first and ask them, who do you know? So I have this program. Who do you know that has a target audience that would be interested in this program? Or I want to get speaking engagements to talk about this program. Who do you know that's going to have an event coming up that I can reach out to and get exposure for my program? So turning your biz besties, because they're there to help you too, and asking them who do they know or who can you refer me to. Second is to hop into Facebook groups, find out where your target audience is hanging out and getting in there and using that space to find either other colleagues or people who you could reach out to who have that target audience because they're going to be hanging out in there too. Or you can reach out directly to your target audience there. And then another example would be to go into networking communities. So I have a networking community where people can come together and come and meet other business experts, other women who are looking to support one another and build those relationships, and who aren't just going to go on a coffee chat with you that leads to nowhere.
Yeah, I think when people first start this idea of collaborations, I think the most common I see is people are like, I want to start a podcast, and then they very quickly realize, wait a minute, I need to find nonstop, never-ending guests. How do I do that? Yeah. Right. Or I want to be featured on podcasts. And so then they're like looking for a way to get featured. And it kind of feels like this dead end of like, how do you even get started? Like it's one thing to know you want to do it. It's another thing to figure out how to do it, which can be tricky. Now, I know you have a community of people where people connect, they form collaborations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because that's one of the places where, like, if you're looking for how on earth do I even start this? This is a perfect example of the kind of community that could be helpful. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called Biz Bestie HQ, and it's a community of predominantly female entrepreneurs. And all of us in there we have that supportive mindset. We're there to build these long-lasting relationships and mutually beneficial relationships, because a collaboration isn't a me kind of thing. It's a you and I, it's that win-win-win thing that I talked about. And so the women in there, we're networking, we're brainstorming, we're sharing ideas, we're cheering each other on, to have that biz bestie to turn to when you have a bad day with a client. Like just having someone to say like, oh my God, talk me off the cliff. I had a horrible day. Like that's the kind of place where you feel like you can be heard, that you're not in this alone. We're not in our businesses alone, and that you can come up with ideas of how to collaborate together. One thing that makes this community different from any other networking group is that we learn together how to make how to be a savvy collaborator, how to find the right kinds of collaborations with the right people, with the right audience that is going to make a difference for our goals right now. So you're not just spinning your wheels, you're not just going and meeting, having these coffee chats and going to these networking rooms that it leads to nothing, that you're actually setting up simple and effective strategies to grow your network, to grow your community, and to grow your business.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's so helpful, because once you're tapping into the right circles of people who understand collaborations, and not only do they leverage them, they're totally open to swapping collaborations or supporting each other or helping each other out. It's interesting. It's like, prior to finding collaborations, I kind of alluded to earlier, I was riding the struggle bus and I was like, oh, this is so hard. It takes forever, right? But once I found it and tapped into it, I realized there's an entire world of people doing this. And I didn't even realize this world existed. Just like anything else, prior to finding online business, probably for anyone watching, like, rewind back to a day where you had never heard of online business, you didn't know existed. And then when you finally discovered it, and it's like discovering this whole world of like, people doing this, like, what, right? It was kind of like that for me. And I'm sure for a lot of people watching today, it might kind of be like that for them right now. So I know you have a really nice free gift that can help people if they're just now realizing there's this entire world of collaborations that they didn't know existed, and their mind is being blown right now. You have a gift that can help them to get started. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's called the 30 Ways to Grow and Scale Your Business Through Collaborations. It's a PDF guide that lists 30 different ways that you can collaborate. As I said earlier, it can be something really small, like an email exchange, or it can be something as big as hosting your own summit, your own bundle, your own giveaway event. So it gives you ideas just to get the brain, and you can look through these and think about, okay, what would light me up? Like, what would an email exchange make me excited? Do I know people who would be interested in doing this with me? So going through that gives you ideas on what would actually work for you. And then there's a space for you to be able to keep track of your outreach efforts. So you go into, if you do a coffee chat every week for a month or for 2 months, you kind of lose track of the people that you've been reaching out to. So it's really important, because you're building relationships. It's really important to keep track of the people that you've been reaching out to. What kind of collaboration did you talk about? What do they do for their business? When should I reach out to them next? So there's a place for that. And then one other thing that I get all the time is like, this sounds wonderful, but I'm afraid to reach out to people. What do I say to them? And so there's actually swipe copy in there. It's really easy to just follow, tailor it to your own voice, but it at least gets that started. And then you just have to think about the people that you're reaching out to. They're most likely wanting you to reach out to them. They want to reach out to people too. They want to collaborate. And so don't be afraid to reach out, and you never know. They're going to, more than likely, they're going to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we all get this idea in our head of like, oh, but if I do this, they're going to say no. Or if I invite them, they're not going to be interested. And it's like, you're just making that up. I mean, you don't know what they're going to say. And if you're going to make it up good. Assume that they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I love that you contacted me. This is the best idea ever. Like, why wouldn't you just assume it's going to be great, right? That's what I do.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
So that'll help you with those things, at least, that guide.
Yes. Well, what a great way to dip your toe into this world. Have like an entry point, have a way to stay organized, track everything, and just kind of like immerse yourself into this world. I love it. So I know you also have a VIP gift for those who are one of our VIP ticket holders. Do you want to tell us about that one?
Yeah, it's the 100 plus new subscribers in 30 days. And it's a really quick course broken up into easy, simple snippets it comes with a worksheet so that you can plan out the different things that actually work for your business, because throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying all these different things doesn't always make sense. So looking at the things that will work for you, but it gives you this laundry list of things to consider. And then you can plan your attack on what are the best ways for me to get that 100 plus. And it's a plus. So it's not just 100, but if you follow the tactics that are talked about in there, then you'll be able to grow your list.
Oh, I love it. Because list growth is one of the most valuable things you can do in your business, right? I would much rather have 100 email subscribers than 100 social media followers.
Yeah. And it's something you have to constantly do. Like, people drop off your list. And as you start collaborating and your list grows exponentially. So if you just try to grow your list on your own, and that's one of the things we talk about in that bonus for the VIP, is that if you throw in collaborations into there, think about it as 100 plus, think of it more as 1,000 plus. Like that, just collaborations just exponentially grows your list.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I like when it comes to collaborations, like I tell people, buckle your seatbelt because things move a lot faster.
They do.
When you start
And it's
collaborating.
more fun. It really is more fun.
Yeah. And like every time I collaborate with someone and come up with something, I make a new friend and I'm like, ooh, I'm keeping you around. Like we're gonna stay in touch. And it's a fun way to make friends. And it's honestly, I kind of joke and I say it's the adult version of saying like, hey, do you want to play with me? Like, you make friends so easily with kids, but as adults, it's different. But it's basically the adult version of making friends in business, right? Like you said,
It is.
biz besties.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Well, Lynn, this was such a joy diving into this topic area with you. And I have the feeling that some people watching had their light bulb moment today and realized, I don't have to do this all alone. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what can happen. Really quickly before we wrap up, do you have some real life examples for yourself or for clients or people you've worked with of like what collaborations has done for their business, what kind of results they've gotten, whether it's list build or income or any real life stories you want to share with us?
Yeah, actually, I emailed my list about this the other day. So, Sadie and I want to say it was Julie, they partnered together on a project. They put together a course. And because they did it together, they were able to do it so much faster. They were able to launch it to a wider audience and they were able to make more money because they did this in a collaboration effort. So things like that. Also just doing simple email exchanges. So a friend of mine, she is looking for other people to share an offer of hers. And so she's asked these people, inside of the Biz Bestie HQ, who would be willing to share this with their email list. So maybe she has 1,000 people on her list. Now she's getting in front of other people in their list. And so she's going to grow her list. She's going to get more people signing up to her offer. And then if you think about, if you set it up right with funnels and all this other stuff, but you can grow your income too on the back end by nurturing the people that are coming onto her list. So there's all sorts of different, there's so many different ways to grow your business through collaborations. There's
really endless opportunities. And once you wire your brain to think that way, you start seeing collaborative opportunities everywhere. Because you're like, whatever you look for, you're going to find, right? It's kind of like you buy a new green vehicle and all of a sudden you see green.
Green everywhere. That commercial, the 11.
Yes, I know.
But it's also like, once you start opening your eyes to collaborations and just seeing things differently, people start seeing you differently. Like I get invitations to be in summits and bundle events and to collaborate and be on podcasts all the time now. And I'm like, how did this happen? When did this happen? It probably was just there in front of me. I just didn't realize it.
Well, and there's also this element too, and I experienced this myself, and so do many of my clients, that the minute they start inviting, they start getting invited. Right? It's like you put that energy out and it reflects back to you. And so it is very common that once you start reaching out to others to collaborate, suddenly you're being invited to collaborate on tons of things. And it's just opportunity after opportunity, visibility, exposure, authority, all the things. So one of my favorite things about this strategy is if you are feeling imposter syndrome, it's like, squash that, throw it in the trash. It disappears like that because all it takes is one or two collaborations and making some new friends. And those negative thoughts just kind of get washed away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Lynn. I think the audience is probably brimming with excitement and possibility and maybe a little bit of wonder. So I definitely encourage you guys, grab that free gift. There'll be a button below where you can click. We'll make it easy for you. I love it. Yay. Well, thank you. And we'll see you guys in the next interview. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Impactful Entrepreneur Show. If you found amazing value here, like, subscribe, and leave us a review to help other people find the high value content that we share, and find us on social media so we can continue the conversation. See you in the next episode.